So as a pantser, Geraldine Zialcita Solon doesn't draw an outline for a book, yet she sort of just goes with the flow. So the surprise for you, the ending, is just as much of a surprise as it is for anybody else who picks up the book.
That's
right?
correct. Yeah, I fly by my seat. I find it actually, if I were to do outlines, I feel like it would ruin my creativity, and I just want to go with the flow because I create the characters, I give life to them, but sometimes they take me to different directions. Sometimes I want to go here, and they're like, no, 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 you need to go here. So I know it sounds crazy, but I mean, for
it's a little unusual.
It is unusual.
You don't hear this in a lot of workshops saying, forget the outline, just write.
Well,
but it works for you.
It works for me, and I know a lot of pantsers as well. There are other people who prefer to do outlines because they feel it gives them a direction, what to do. In my case, I write down my character sketches. I make sure I make them consistent. I know how it's going to start. I know part of the middle. I mean, it's when I'm thinking about it, it's already brewing in my head. I'm already plotting out small details, but I don't really know exactly how it's going to end, what direction it's going to take me. I don't know if I mentioned to you one time, but I was writing a book, and the gender was male, and it was like 112 pages, and all of a sudden I had writer's block, and I couldn't write no more. So I put it aside. I took long walks. I couldn't get back to the book. All these female hormones started screaming at me, and they said, you know what, you need to change this character of yours into female. And I don't mean a sex change, but I had to change the gender, and everything just fell into place.
Did that change the construct at the beginning of the book? Did you have to rewrite it sort of so that it more affected what would be a female character, or
well,
did
some
it just
parts,
fit anywhere?
but it was like the story was just there, and then I created a subplot, and everything just was interwoven together. And even the ending, it surprised me. I'm like,
Which
oh
book
my
was
gosh, it's called The Assignment.
Oh yeah, how did it do?
Oh, it's doing very well. Yeah, it's doing very well.
So I'm wondering, is without an outline and a plan all the way through, and I'm a big planner, but without that kind of plan, how do you commit to a publisher or an agent about page count?
Well, I'm self-published,
Okay.
so but I still follow the structure. I mean, there is a structure to writing a novel. You have to look at your pacing. You have to look at the bigger pictures if your characters are consistent, the plot, everything. So it doesn't mean even if I'm a pantser, I'm going in some wild direction. No, there still is a certain structure that you have to follow in terms of writing a novel.
Movement, absolutely critical in book. You want to know if your books all move forward at a good pace.
Yeah.
Do you ever find that you come to a fork in the road and you take one fork and the movement's still there, but all of a sudden
sometimes
it's at dead end?
Yeah, that's what happened to me when I got stuck. And that's why I believe in taking long breaks, because sometimes you're too close to the story that you don't realize that, hey, there's something that you need something there. So I put it aside, especially when I start writing the first draft, I put it aside for a month. I don't look at it. And then I'm thinking of another project, I'm writing other things. And then when I look at it again, I'm like, okay, you know what, this is what this needs to get out. I need to cut this, I need to move this scene, I need to add this, and then I go over it.
That's another thing you do that's probably not for everybody. You've got several books on the go at once, right? About
Yes,
3 or so?
I try to release 3 books a year, 2 to 3 books a year. Okay. That's my goal, yeah.
And you're working on all of those sometimes simultaneously, right?
Yes, I write like sometimes 2 to 3 books at a time.
Yeah.
So while I get writing this and I want to write something else, so it keeps your ideas fresh. I don't want to be redundant. All the characters from my books are different, very, very different. And I don't want to make them like me because it's a different life. Like I wrote a book about this lady who was a vegan, and I'm a meat lover, so it's like I got to experience her life, what it feels to be a vegan.
Yeah.
So it's a different world for me.
Yeah. Now, for anybody who that isn't working on 3 books, that wants to walk away from the book, yet they want to write every day, they feel compelled to write every day, they've got that time in their day that they want to write. I think I heard you talk about it at this workshop yesterday. If you need to step away, you can just maybe come up with a character that might fit within that book and start writing that character rather than a plot-driven, just write that character and have them fit into the
Like
source.
it depends how the ideas come to you. Sometimes it comes to you in a place. It could be a scene. It could be a character. It could be the story itself. So it doesn't mean that you have to keep writing every day. I'm not that rigid. If I'm not writing every day, I'm either thinking of a theme of the book or a character, or I'm like plotting scenes, or I'm editing one of my books. As long as you're in that zone, as long as you're connected with what you're doing, or I'm thinking of new ideas, you know, right, scribbling there. I mean, I always have a notebook with me in case I get ideas.
I was just going to ask you, are you one of those people who has a notebook with you at all times?
Definitely.
And you're pulling it out whenever you see something.
When I see something that inspires me, or I have an idea, or something just comes to my mind.
Now, your bedside as well, do you write down dreams?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, I always have a notebook and a pen.
How fruitful do you find that? How fruitful do you find your dreams?
My dreams? My dreams are really vivid.
Yeah.
Very vivid, yeah.
Have you been able to inject some of those in your books?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah?
Sometimes. I mean, of course, you inject some of your experiences, whatever your thoughts.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's an interesting process, putting all of this together and having it. I mean, do you remember when you believe your first book was
Love Letters?
Love Letters.
Yeah.
Now, when at the end of Love Letters, did you find that sort of this was your baby and it was hard to let go of it?
Yes, of course, of course. I was scared. I was so intimidated to release it to the world. I wasn't sure if people would appreciate it, you know. Mm-hmm. That's the scariest. But once you write your first book and then you get to write your second, your third, you get better as you go. You become more versatile. You discover new things about yourself. Like now I discover I like public speaking and being able to teach workshops and, you know, getting acquainted with other writers. So you get to learn stuff about yourself. It's really a journey.
Mm-hmm. And what a wonderful public speaker you are. I was sat on some of that workshop yesterday, and everybody was just riveted. And these were brand newly minted writers, but some of them quite gifted. Yes.
So there's a lot of them that they just need to unleash that talent, you know, and just give it a go, because it's really fear that stops them. Mm-hmm. They should be able to conquer that fear and have the confidence that they'd be able to write something magical. Because for me, writing is magical.
We don't live in a world particularly that is very rich in encouraging writers. You often find that writers will, and you probably came across this yourself, what are you doing writing a book? Come on now.
Yeah. I mean, I think we are underestimated. There's a big stigma about writers, but boy, it's for me, it's the best job in the world next to motherhood. It's the best job in the world. I mean, especially for fiction. I mean, the world is your oyster. It's a big playground out there. You can write anything you want. You're free. For me, it's like freedom. It's free to dream. It's free to write. You can write anything you want.
Yeah.
And to put that thoughts into paper and to be able to share it with the world is so magical.
And to be able to fly to another city and give a seminar while collecting royalties on all of those books you read. So I think what I've heard you say partially is that writing books is hard, but I mean, if that's your love and you can market it, there's some money to be made in this.
Definitely. Well, most writers, a lot of them, they get stuck because they don't know how to focus on the business side of it. Mm-hmm. That's where you take out your creative hat and think like a businesswoman. I like to call myself as an authorpreneur because I'm always researching and really active in the community and being able to promote my books. I mean, I've learned the hard way when I first released my book. I didn't have the faintest clue on how to market it, so I had to do a lot of research and learn. And this is my way of giving back, like teaching workshops and being able to encourage other writers to be able to do the same thing that I did.
Yeah, I love that word, authorpreneur, and actually viewers should take note of that, because that's one of your books, and it kind of spells out your advice to budding authors. So it's one of those ones you want to keep right by the laptop there to refer to in order to sort of help yourself through this. And your latest book, of course, Midlife
Crisis Diaries.
Yeah, so then this is the one that's going to be turned into a series,
right?
Yes,
it is a series. Yeah, it's a romantic comedy. So now I decided to go light again after writing that dark novel. So
was there a particular character in there that made you think this has to be a series? This character has
I think
to come
when
back?
I wrote the first book, I was thinking like, you know what? I don't want to end here. I think this is going to be good. It's funny, it's light, and people can relate to it, especially those who are like in their midlife. We all go through that transition or crisis, so people will be able to relate to it.
That's great. Thank you very much for taking some time to talk to us today. It's been just lovely talking to you. And I know there's a small group that's trying to get you back up to the Lower Mainland here to speak again. So maybe people could keep in tune on your website, or just keep a view on the local meetups.
Sure.
For the next opportunity to come and hear you speak.
Definitely. I'd love to
I highly
be back
recommend
here.
it. Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. Thank you
very
so
much.
much.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
bet.
Take care. Thanks.
Bye now.